Sussex Police Authority met on the 10th of December 2009 and, as was not the case with their last meeting, the occasion was webcast. It began, by accident or design, with a 3.5-minute dumb show, during which 2 members or ex-members of the authority were each presented with a small white box by the unelected chairman, and with what appeared to be a framed certificate, perhaps in his role as a de facto member of the authority, by the chief constable. Then, the chief executive being absent, his deputy supervised a quite unusual procedure. A vote was taken. A majority had decided that they did not want to increase their membership from 17 to 23. The authority actually voting on anything has been unusual in the past, but towards the end of this meeting there was an astonishing event which was, in my experience, absolutely unprecedented. An authority member disagreed with the chief constable, and another member endorsed his opinion. The subject of the disagreement was not of great importance. It apparently concerned appearances by the police on this newfangled form of communication called television. Richards was reporting on recent work by the force. One Sussex officer apparently had appeared on German television. Nearer home,
Brighton Beach Patrol I just wanted to give a mention to, probably because it caught me out a little bit. I don't think I need many notes for this. I managed to watch about 5 minutes of that programme and realised it was going to be hitting groups that we traditionally don't reach. I have had conversations with people of, dare I say, of my age and older, who weren't absolutely convinced that this was the very best thing for us to be involved with. Quite the contrary has been the feedback that we've had from a number of other groups. And I have to say that I think, well, I can tell you that the documentary has resulted in other forces contacting us to get information and advice on implementing Operation Marble, which is our multi-agency approach to policing the nighttime economy. And I think the view of many, in particular the younger people perhaps that the programme was targeted towards, suggests that the Brighton Hove staff have been congratulated by the calm way they dealt with people, particularly in certain areas of the city. So I think, my view is it showed our human side a little bit.
I wanted to come back with a point about Brighton Beach Patrol, really. You know, with respect, I think actually entirely the opposite. All the feedback I've had is that it showed Sussex police staff and officers in a very bad light. I understand that there are good budgetary reasons for taking part in these sort of programmes. They do bring money in, and we all know how tight that is. But the feedback I've had has been very negative, and I think it poses a real reputational risk to the force to participate in programmes like this, which, quite rightly, we don't have any editorial control over.
I'm with Ben on this, that I've actually spent time with PCSOs in Brighton, shadowing them, and see the way they deal with situations, and it was completely in contrast to the sort of slightly aggressive way that was portrayed on the programmes that I saw, and I just didn't recognise the Brighton and Hove that I know I live in from that programme.
The principal purpose of this video is as part of my inquiry into the unacceptable state of the police complaints system. So the remainder of it looks at a couple of items in the report from the Professional Standards Committee. The Professional Standards Committee is described on the Sussex Police Authority website as a public meeting, though I have never seen on the website any indication that members of the public can actually attend their meetings, and there has never been a webcast of a meeting. This committee has recently been reconfigured and now comprises a chairman, Bratton, non-councillor, a vice-chairman, Fayers or Faz, non-councillor, councillors Daniel, Duncan and Smith, and non-councillors Bull, Daniel and Walker.
We had our meeting on the 28th of October. Was my first as chair of this committee, which is recently expanded and newly constituted. One major change that we've implemented is the way that we look at the complaints. that previously we were looking generally at sort of a random selection made by the chairman of the Professional Standards Committee. We've now moved on to a thematic approach as well. So we shall select or ask the police force to provide for us complaints under particular headings.
A person just viewing a webcast might assume that when committee members meet, one of them offers an idea which the committee then discuss and perhaps agree upon. Viewers might not realise that sometimes they could be watching the electronic equivalent of a puppet show. This idea of the random selection of complaints files being replaced by a thematic selection was presented to the committee in a document by the Chief Executive entitled Inspection of Complaints Files. It is proposed that the completely random inspection of complaints is to cease. Instead, complaints will be selected from those related to risk-based themes, like incivility or young people. There would be 4 meetings a year instead of 6. Young people was the risk-based theme chosen for the committee's most recent meeting. There was no discussion, there never is, about the honesty and fairness with which complaints from the public were treated. As usual, it's a matter of numbers, but with the advantage that they are no longer comparable with the last set of numbers, as the category has changed.
I was a bit surprised not to be asked to choose a random selection of files for us to look at, but I was told that in fact what we saw in front of us, I think there were 6 files, was in total the number of complaints that had been received from young people.
The members of the committee had with them a visitor.
But we had with us Mr. Mike Franklin, as you can see from the notes of the report there, from the IPCC. He has been to previous meetings and he was very helpful. We found his presence useful. We had a lot of discussion with him about the role of the IPCC. And he, as you'll see from that report, welcomed the good relationship that exists between the force and the IPCC, and also the fact that this relationship perhaps generated increased complaints, which he thought was quite a good thing.
I only know of one previous meeting which Franklin attended. On my website I commented on remarks included in an SPA report of the Professional Standards Committee meeting in October 2008. It seems that the IPCC's whitewashing activities extend beyond the police to police authorities. Mr. Franklin, it is said, supported fully this, was encouraged by that, welcomed the other and agreed with something else. Most laughable of all, he apparently said, "It is to the credit of the force that people felt able to complain." Why is that laughable? The authority only ever speak disparagingly about complainants. And how could the authority or the force stop people complaining except by stopping malpractices for which they bear responsibility? Statutory instruments like the Police Complaints and Misconduct Regulations 2004 assume that members of the public have a right to complain. When I became the victim of dishonesty on the part of PC Francis, PC Wilkinson and Detective Inspector Preddy, should I have felt that complaining, difficult and pointless as it proved to be, was a privilege? I haven't time to comment on the committee chairman's limited knowledge and understanding of the IPCC, or to reveal much of what my researchers have discovered about the IPCC Commissioner for Sussex. I'll end with a picture and a couple of facts about the Commissioner taken from the IPCC's website. And the rest, as Hamlet said on a more solemn occasion, is silence.